I did a video back on March 23rd, 2017, and this is November 12th, 2017, about 8 months ago. And it was called Religions and Ideologies as Massive Multiplayer Virtual Reality Games. And I kind of wanted to follow up on that, and I wanted to do a setup first. I had heart failure 2.5 years ago, and then started recovering and started having problems with arrhythmia, heart arrhythmia, and wore 30-day heart monitors a couple of times and back and forth to cardiologist, and struggled through several other side effects. And so this drug on for about 2.5 years. And then in September I wore my last 30-day heart monitor, the most recent, and then I went to the cardiologist in October 12th, I think it was. Actually about a month ago. And he had reviewed the readings, and he said, your heart's normal. Now, I do take heart medications, and I take an antiarrhythmic drug, but he said, your heart's functioning normal, your heart's basically normal. It's like a muscle, and it's healed itself. And you're back to normal, and carry on, you know. You're one of, and he did say, I remember the phrase, you're one of the lucky few that happens to. So having said all that, I was talking to a friend, and that is trying to make life a little more mystical than I've become. And he was asking me what I ascribed this to, this seeming miracle, or and I, first of all, you have my background. If you lived through this, yes, it was very fortunate, but also I've been very unfortunate. I have degenerative disc disease out of the blue. It doesn't run in my family. When I was diagnosed with it over 4 years ago, the attending internal medicine doctor and then the MD that diagnosed it, they basically said it's not hereditary. We don't know why it happens, and you just apparently walking helps. So good luck to you. Here's you've been complaining of severe, overwhelming, unstoppable neck pain. Here's some hydrocodone, and you're on your own, basically. Good luck. And I mean, they did the best they could. I'm not being cynical towards them. And so when you've had something unfortunate like that happen, and then you get a good luck, and your heart repairs itself, it's a wash. I don't feel lucky. I don't feel lucky at all. But someone on the outside just know about the heart would think, oh my God, God's blessed him and done all this. And, well, now I've still got more health problems. But anyway, my friend asked me what I ascribed this to, and I thought about it, and I listed them. We were texting, and one was I thought my meditation had perhaps shifted my consciousness some. And again, I'm not going to hang my head on this, but I was just speculating, and I said maybe my meditation has helped in shifting my consciousness. I've been able to perhaps remain calm more so than I would have previously. And another thing I said was I had accepted death and was ready to leave this world. I was just so fed up with feeling bad, and my body, my avatar, just totally messed up. And there was nothing, at times there was very little I could do, and I was bedridden. I was just tired of it. I understand why people get that way. It's just, life has no value anymore. And third, I said I had a sense of humor, probably because of that. And I could laugh about it. I saw, the absurdity of it, that this was just ridiculous. And, I could laugh. And I think I may have actually listed a couple other things, but I didn't really other than the shift in consciousness, it was more attitude. And so at the end, I said, and again, I wasn't trying to make this is a dogma or something. We were just chatting, and at the end, I said, I don't know if any of this is really true, but that is what I like to think. And I meant it that way. It's what I like to think. I didn't even say I like to believe, but some would say that they like to believe that, and they ascribe things to God healed them, or God's teaching them a lesson, or and it can be other religions. I'm just thinking in terms of Christianity, but all religions and beliefs. They come up with reasons for things that may be unexplainable or have a very valid physical reason. Maybe it was because I stayed in shape. That was one of the things I said. The other thing I said was I stayed in shape most of my life. Now, I wasn't perfect health. I did smoke smoke. At one point I drank alcohol, but I hadn't drank alcohol in 20 years when it happened. And, I didn't eat a perfect diet or anything. I mean, there was a lot of things, and I knew I was kind of not doing it exactly right, but at the same time, I did always stay in shape. It was just this thing of mine. I want to be height, weight, proportional is what I always called it, and I stayed in shape. And I attributed some of that to that. I hiked. I literally hiked a few thousand miles of my life. I've ran, I've jogged, I've walked, I've climbed, I've done all this stuff. And again, that was one of the reasons I said, well, maybe it was staying in shape helped with it. So that could be a physical reason. But that's my setup for what I wanted to talk about was that's what I like to think, or that's what I like to believe, because the more I thought about what I said, and it was just from the heart, it was honest, that's how I felt. It's what I like to think, and I wasn't taking it too seriously and dogmatic, but I got to thinking about all these things people are doing, and I've talked about it again on March 23rd, 2017 on a video. Oh, it's a deer. I saw this white tail. It's a white-tailed deer over there. But it's religions and ideologies as massive multiplayer games in a virtual reality, which is this universe. So that's what I was wanted to set up, and that's how I came to think of that yet again. There's a deer. There he is. He's moving between the tree trunks. I can hear him. There were two. I don't see the other. I saw a flash of white sitting here, and I didn't know what it was. It was white-tailed deer. They were going the other way, and I don't see them now. Oh, they saw me. There they go. There's the white tails. They go bounding along through the forest. That one stop. He's snorting. That's one of their signals to each other. He's between those two tree trunks. You can hear him. I'm just sitting here still. They came up on me. The one bounded on further. I don't see. But this one, he's standing there looking at me. I can hear him. So having said all that and being interrupted by deer, which I made a video of them, Zoom, they're still standing over there looking at me. And then I had crows fussing at me, and I had right before I started recording again, the crows came up, little family of crows, and gave me a hard time. And then as I came in here, a red-bellied woodpecker sounded the alarm. So I've had all sorts of wildlife. But what I was talking about previously, and in the previous clip, and then also in the previous video in March 23rd, what had generated that was Waking Up with Sam Harris podcast number 68, and it was Yuval Yuval Noah Harari, who wrote the book *Sapiens*, is where he made his name, and then he's wrote *Homo Deus* since then. And but they were talking about humans as storytellers, and we make up these stories to explain our world, our reality, and really what we're explaining is the cause and effect, and we're justifying our actions. And you can go back and listen to my video on that. I don't want to really repeat all of it, but what amazes me is it doesn't. You get into, well, first you get into all this cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias, and we come up with these beliefs and ideals that are not necessarily true, or we're not even actually living, but we're willing to go fight for them and die for them. And I'm not talking about defending the country against invaders. I'm talking about we'll go mess with other people. And so the Muslims are a classic example of this. They just can't leave well enough alone. They got to go get rid of the infidels, and that's what makes them so dangerous. And but other religions have done it too. But it's also just belief systems in general. It's liberals versus conservatives, Democrats versus Republicans versus third party. You get into these, and you cannot. They take the facts and on either side and process it until it fits what they believe. And they'll go, "Yep, I knew it. That's exactly what happened." And they're both saying the same thing on opposite sides of the spectrum about the same event. And I even had two actually very educated, above average intelligent people, when these hurricanes were hitting, both bringing up God. One asked if God was angry, and I don't remember what the other one said exactly. It was something to the effect, though, that it was something to do with God. And it's like, why would you ascribe this to God? I mean, this is the Joe in the volcano kind of thinking. And I saw the same thing with climate change advocates, and I am an environmentalist actually, but back in 2005 when Katrina hit New Orleans, it's been 12 years ago now. This is because of climate change, and it's going to be happening more and more. And well, it didn't. We went a number of years and nothing happened, and now we've had another round. And so there's a certain amount of this, and again, I'm an environmentalist and a conservation, some cyclical, and I'm not happy with what's being done in the environment. I'm extremely upset about it, but you can just see people force the facts to fit their beliefs. And the God in the hurricanes and above average intelligent people bringing up God and because of hurricanes is the one that just struck me. That was just, and again, as I said in the previous clip, I had a miraculous recovery rally with my heart, and but I've had bad luck too. So it kind of all was a washout. I'm still not back to where I was before all my health problems, but it's definitely something nice that happened. I'm happy about it. And I am thankful. I don't know if it's in a spiritual way or a consciousness way, or it's not really a religious way, but I am thankful about it. I mean, one less thing I got to deal with. But I am thinking about that. And others have came up with this, but I could work on myself, is we really have a hierarchy of being. of existence. And if you look at it, especially in the Buddhist view, or the consciousness precedes matter view, or the universe is a virtual reality view, that we're consciousness in an avatar, and we're consciousness preeminent. And there's been a lot of roads taken on that, and that road split a lot of times into all sorts of spiritual beliefs, and the more I've studied them, the more I've kind of shied away from a lot of it. Although I do think that I'm not going to say believe, but I like to think that a consciousness precedes matter, because otherwise matter precedes consciousness, and we're back to scientific materialism, reductionism, and it's a bleak world. But if you did have a hierarchy of being, the first and foremost would be consciousness, and that would be your free will awareness. And that's what Tom Campbell calls us. We're free will awareness units on this earth, in this universe, which is a virtual reality. And we've taken the form of Homo sapiens sapiens. And so we're in a body of Homo sapiens sapiens, which is our avatar. And I'm not going to bring up the fact that, even though we may well be a free will awareness unit, there would be a higher consciousness than that we've either come from or split from or something like that. I'll leave that out of this for now. But once we see that we're Homo sapiens sapiens in a body that's an avatar in a virtual reality, next would be we are a gender, male or female, or any other things they've come up with lately. I don't pay attention anymore. Then we are a race. We're black, white, Native American, Asian, and then we're even within that a subcategory, some type of ethnicity. European, from the Congo, or Bantu, or Cheyenne Indian, Chinese, Vietnamese. Then within that, we're may well have if we're not an atheist, we may well be have a religion, and it depends a lot on where you are born, and all these preceding your ethnicity and race can have a lot to do with it. You may be a Buddhist or a Hindu from Southwest Asia or Southern Asia. You may be a Eastern Orthodox Slav from Russia or Eastern Europe, or you may be a Catholic from Italy, or a Christian from America, or Catholic in Latin America, or you may be in an indigenous religion. Then you have a socioeconomic status. You may be rich, poor, middle class within your culture. You may have a political affiliation, left, as I was talking about earlier, left, right, conservative, liberal. In America, Republican or Democrat or third party. In Europe, you may, they've got more parties, more political parties than we do. Or you may live in a communist country. But all this determines your identity and how you're going to act and what your worldview is my point. And then you even have whether you're left or right brain dominant. If you're left brain dominant, you're going to be a business person or a scientist, or the world basically runs on left brain. But the ideas in innovation are right brain, which is your creative side, your artist, your innovators. Steve Jobs was a good example of being both left and right brain, but he was used, and they even talked about that in the sense that, he talked about Apple. He wanted their products to be the crossroads between technology and humanity, and it's a good example. Technology's left brain, humanity the way he saw it was right brain and creative. And even Albert Einstein, I was surprised. You think him as the ultimate left brain thinker, physics and theoretical physics, but he had a lot of quotes and talked a lot about imagination, and that's right brain, and that's what made him great. It was he was able to synthesize left and right brain, and he may well have been balanced. I, the more I've studied that, the best people for achieving things are very balanced left and right brain. I think you get too far to the left brain and you get OCD, you know. Yeah. But that's my thinking about this. Back to what I said earlier. That's what I like to think, and about my heart recovery. But I'm trying to step back and look at it objectively as I can, which it's more difficult than you think if you're brutally honest with yourself. And then at the same time, I remember this hierarchy of being. I thought about that a lot in my meditations, and you to get to a point of consciousness in meditation or shifting your consciousness, you have to realize all that this is only your avatar, and it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is, your race, your gender. You have to pull back from even that, and even from being Homo sapiens sapiens, and realize you're the consciousness within the avatar, and that it's a virtual reality, or the Buddhists frame it a little different. But that's what I was trying to get at is sometimes think of your hierarchy of being and pull back. I think a lot of things, a lot of creative things that have happened in this world are because people were able to do that and get past all their bias and their beliefs, their ego, their expectations, their fears, and just look at themselves as consciousness.